Welcome. This video will briefly introduce you to eData, what the site is for and how to submit your data. eData is an institutional repository where STFC staff can deposit data that supports primary research outputs. For more information about eData and its intended purposes, please see the policy page. If this is your first time using eData, you will need to register as a new user. To do this, select Login and enter your Fed ID and password. You will receive an email when your registration has been completed, at which point you can log back in and begin submitting your data. Select the Submission button in the right-hand menu. This will take you to a summary page where you can either start a new submission, view a previous submission, or continue an incomplete submission. Use the drop-down box to select the collection that relates to your department. Fields shown in red are mandatory and must be completed, as this information will form the citation for your dataset. Fields shown in black are optional, however we strongly recommend that you complete as many fields as possible. The more information you can provide, the easier it will be for secondary users to interpret and reuse your data. The title should summarize the content of the dataset and should be meaningful to both yourself and any secondary users. You can add creators by either entering their name and selecting Lookup, or entering their ORCID ID using the Lookup function. Please describe your dataset as thoroughly as possible. You should include any information a secondary user would require to be able to interpret and understand your data. Adding appropriate subject keywords or phrases will help to make your dataset more discoverable. The date of issue is when the dataset will become publicly available. For datasets under embargo, please enter the date the embargo ends. You must enter a year at minimum, however the day and month can be left blank. From the drop-down menu, please select the type that is most applicable to your dataset. If more than one type applies, please select Collection. If you're submitting data to support a paper or publication and you know the DOI, please enter it here. If the paper is yet to be published, do not worry, this can be left blank for now. However, we would ask that you send details of the persistent identifier to the eData team once known, and we will add it to the metadata record. Use the lookup function to search for funders and select from the list. You should also enter the grant number where applicable. Next, you should upload any files you wish to include within your dataset. Outputs from publicly funded research should be made freely accessible as soon as possible. However, we appreciate that there are circumstances where this isn't appropriate. If required, you can apply an embargo to your submission. Simply enter the date you want the embargo to end and the data to be made available for download. If you choose to apply an embargo, you must also provide a reason for restricting access. A license must be applied to any dataset uploaded to eData. The license outlines the conditions under which the dataset can be reused. You will need to select the license type that is most appropriate to your dataset. However, please be aware that Creative Commons licenses are not applicable for software. If you are submitting a software deposit, you must select Other and include a plain text file detailing the license information along with your deposit. You can find out more information about the Creative Commons licenses on the Creative Commons website, or for advice and information about software licenses, you can email the eData team or speak to the intellectual property team. Finally, please check your submission carefully, and when you're done, click Complete Submission. However, please be aware that once submitted, you will not be able to edit the data set or its associated metadata. The record for your submission will appear immediately. However, it will take a few hours for the DOI to be minted and appear on the record under URI. If you see an error with your submission or require any additional metadata adding to the record, please let the eData team know as soon as possible. Guidance and further information about everything covered in this video is available on the library website. Alternatively, you can email the eData team if you have any specific queries.